Hey everybody, my name is Jen and this is Jen Geigley Knits. Welcome. Today is March 23rd, which is Knit for Food Day. So today we are participating in real life in a 12-hour knit-a-thon for Knit for Food, and our donations that we raise are going toward Feeding America, World Central Kitchen, No Kid Hungry, and Meals on Wheels. So they'll be distributed evenly between these amazing organizations. And during the day, we have like a live Zoom that we are able to join. And maybe you're knitting along with us, so hi if you are. And then during the day, during the Zoom, all these organizations do little presentations and show us the work they're doing and where our donations are going and how they're feeding people. And it's just really important work, and I really feel strongly about this cause. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for your donations. You already blew my little first goal out of the water, and I just looked and my donation page is up to $1,890. Thank you. I'm almost to $2,000, and I wasn't gonna raise my goal, but what the heck? I mean, why not? Would you like to help me get to $2,000? That would make me so excited and happy to be like a bigger contributor to this cause. So if you want to help me, like each $5 donation helps, $10 donations help. They really, really, really add up. When we all help out a little bit, it really, it adds up. So I just looked at our main page with all the donations, and we are currently up to $271,976, which is incredible. So, and it just keeps increasing. This is the big day. This is the big push. So thank you. Knit for Food, I'll leave the link below if you'd like to donate. If you already did, thank you so, so, so much. It is so appreciated. Thank you so much. I'll stop talking about Knit for Food, but it is really exciting and fun. So today in real life, on Saturday, I am not able to knit the full 12 hours because a bunch of things kind of came up in real life. So I'm gonna be knitting in between these things, but I'm still participating. I'm in it, I'm on the Zoom, I'm there, so I'm doing it, but. Also, my daughter is playing in a band, and they have a really good show tonight with a really cool lineup from people all around the Midwest and Milwaukee and different cities coming to play here tonight. And they are probably one of the youngest bands. These kids are all 17 years old, and so it's really fun to see them playing these real shows. It's very exciting. So I'm gonna go see them tonight. Lotus is also at a day-long songwriting workshop with her whole band, and it's part of Girls Rock here in Des Moines, which is so cool. Really cool opportunity. So they're gonna play and practice and work on songwriting all day at this workshop, pack up, load up their cars, and go to the show to play tonight. And then we're all gonna go watch her there. And then also today I am heading out to Fiberpalooza, which is a local, not in Des Moines, but outside of Des Moines, in Winterset, Iowa. It's been hosted for years. It's called Fiberpalooza, and it's kind of like our little Midwest Iowa fiber festival, but also just yarn, local dyers. All the local farms bring like their wool and their alpaca yarn and products and all that stuff. So I'm gonna go check that out. I usually go every year. I think I might have missed last year, which is really weird. I don't remember why, but I do plan on going to that for a bit, and then Knitting for Food, and then going to Lotus's show. And so that's kind of the plan for the day. So next week, if you come back, I will have a nice recap from Fiberpalooza, show you what that's all about. I might be seeing alpacas at the alpaca farm again from Rusty Star Alpacas, but we'll see. I'm not totally sure that's gonna happen, but maybe. And then the Knit for Food, I don't know if I'll recap that, but I'll be knitting on something, I'm sure, most of the day. I still have to pick out what, but maybe this. Well, I'll show you in a minute. I did work most of the week on things that I can't show you, which are the secret design projects, but they went really well, and they went quicker than I thought, and I really buckled down and worked on them, because whenever I have a deadline, I like to be early on those. I don't want to let it sit to the last minute, because knitting can't be rushed, and especially knitwear design can't be rushed in case you have to go back and fix things and redo things and change it as you go. So I got everything written out, and pretty much everything that I wanted to get done knitted is knitted. That didn't make any sense. but I just feel really good about that. So I'm sitting in a good spot. And I did manage, I didn't get to work on all the projects that I have on needles right now, but I did manage to make some good progress on my Aperture sweater by Alicia Plummer. And this is coming along quite nicely. So it's kind of a boxy, plain, got the nice ribbing down here. Just a nice throwover kind of sweatshirt type, easy pullover. There's so many of these out there right now. I have patterns for these as well. I could knit my own, but it's fun to knit someone else's patterns too and support your friends. And so I really like how this is turning out. I'm getting this sleeve really close to being done. I could probably start the ribbing in a minute, but and I did this whole sleeve yesterday. So maybe, because I feel like I want to wear this like soon, maybe I can finish this sleeve and this one. I haven't started this one yet today. I'm just in like a mode of like, let's do it, let's finish it, let's do something, because I feel like I have so many things half started, and then the design stuff kind of threw me off of my personal knitting, and I don't know. So I just want to get this done and wear it, because it has been cold here again. We got snow randomly, like not a lot, but we had like some slushy, snowy. It's just, I'm still in sweater mode. I'm not at spring yet. I mean, I wish, but realistically, it's Iowa in the Midwest and we have some cold days ahead still. So yeah, it did kind of snow on our daffodils, you know, the things that had popped up a little early. Our grass had turned nice and green, and we had some flowers popping up and, you know, little shoots, whatever. And then there's just that nice snowfall on top. So anyway, it just made me feel like I needed a cozy sweater, and this does feel like the perfect size, like perfect length. I think I stopped at the right area, and then just a boxy, easy pullover that I know I will wear a lot and love. I think Alicia Plummer used Noro Silk Garden for hers, and hers is more stripy with the different color variations, which we all love our Noro for that. But I decided to go with this kind of neutral brown, dark oatmeal-y color, because I have been looking for an excuse to use this exact Noro yarn. It's Noro Hanui. This is color 16, and it comes in these giant balls, which I love how far this goes. I love the feel of this. Like, some Noro is a little itchy to me. Not bad though, I can wear all of it really. But this is so really nice to against the skin. It's really squishy and soft, and I really like how it feels. There's a little bit of like lanolin feeling as you knit with it, but it's nice because then your hands don't get so dry. But I've really enjoyed knitting with this yarn. I think I really want to write up a stripy sweater pattern, which I maybe just did another stripy. It's all another secret pattern that I'm in the midst of. But I want to do, there's a black color of this and a cream off-white color of this. And I want a sweater in black and white stripes with like in this really badly. So maybe something similar, just like a plain pullover with stripes, which I have a pattern for that. Actually, it's called Stripey or Stripe on Ravelry. Maybe it would work with this gauge. I'm not even sure. I already have a pattern just like that. Maybe I'll just try this yarn with that pattern and see if it works, or maybe I'll write a new one. But I really want this yarn in like, I want everything in this yarn. I want more sweaters in this yarn, but I want something in the black and white for sure. But anyway, I was really happy to get some progress done on this, if nothing else, in my pile this week. Let's talk about the blanket scarf debate from my last video, in case you saw that. And if you didn't, you can go check it out later. I'll put it in the link below, but the notes below, whatever I'm trying to say. So last week I showed you the kit that I bought from Purl Soho. It's the linen quill mini set, and it's like 40 some balls, all different colors. They say they're mini skeins, but they're really quite large. Like, I feel like they're almost regular sized. Beautiful, vivid colors, and there's 2 free projects that you can make. You can make anything. You can make sweaters, you can do something else totally, and maybe I still will because I'm still undecided. But you guys really, really got me thinking. Your comments helped me so much. I do think I'm leaning towards the blanket, but everybody had such cool suggestions and really thoughtful ideas. Thank you for all your comments. Let me look. I think there was almost 300 comments. I am not kidding. So I just went ahead and made a pie chart of the results of your comments last week because I'm a nerd, and I love pie charts. But there was 293 comments on my post last week. That's way more than usual for me because I'm just kind of small potatoes. But it was so fun. I read every single one and responded to most, and we had big discussions in the comments, and I loved it so much. So thank you for participating and for helping me make my decision, because you had so many thoughtful ideas and questions, and it was fantastic. So not everybody's comment had a vote or an answer, and there were some that were, just like all kinds of things. But I did tally up the votes for blanket, the votes for scarf, and the votes for both. So here's that pie chart information. So 21.5% voted for the scarf, 24.8% voted for both, and 53.7% voted blanket. And everyone had reasons why. A lot of people said your whole family can use the blanket, and blankets make memories, and your kids can use it, and it can be a part of your living room, life. A blanket hangs out with you during your life, on your sick days, on your well days, on your freezing cold in the winter days. And a lot of people said that my cat is going to love my blanket, and that is so true. And some people suggested that I make a smaller cat blanket in case I want to make scarves and a blanket from the same kit. They're just like, make a smaller blanket, which is very appealing, just for the cat, which, I'm a cat mom now, and I will do anything for my new cat. She's seriously the best, and yeah, she deserves a blanket. So I loved all there was people that asked, like, what would you use more, a blanket or a scarf? What do you have more of, a blanket or a scarf? And so these were all really good things and smart things to consider. What would you enjoy more to make? And I mean, both of them. That's the hard part. I would enjoy making both projects. So I'm still not totally sure what I'm going to cast on. This is the weird paralyzing thing that like a really good yarn kind of has sometimes over me, where it is paralyzing sometimes when I just can't decide what do I want to do, but I am leaning towards the blanket. However, there was another person in the comments, and I appreciate this so much. Thank you so much, everybody. But this person said they're making the blanket right now. And I did ask them, how much time does it take to get through a row? I'm not a super fast knitter. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know, I'm not horribly slow. I'm probably average is what I'm guessing, but I feel slow. Like I don't get through things fast. I don't whip up a blanket in a month. Like I'm not that kind of knitter. I have kids and we have busy lives. I mean, everybody does, but I have a lot of interruptions, like always. So I can't say that I knit for like 6 hours ever, or like 2 hours ever. But this person said, first of all, I should tell you that with my knitting, I did go down to a size 2.5 needle to get gauge. This is another thing that I can relate to because I'm a loose knitter. And so I bet I would have to go down a needle size too. This is very valuable information. So thank you for sharing this. It says, LOL, I was looser than I thought. As for how long it takes to knit a row, I would say I'm a slow knitter, so you shouldn't judge by me, but I am too. So I do judge by you because I am a slow knitter. I haven't timed myself, but it does take a good while. If you can hear that in the back, that is my tortoise. And I want my cat, I want Dinah to come visit. I think she will in a little bit, but I hope she comes to hang out. Anyway, I keep getting sidetracked. The row does take a good while, maybe 20 minutes or more per row. I don't know. I do love it though, and the changing colors makes it really fun. It's a great project to pick up between other projects, and I can totally see that being true. And then I talked back and forth with this person in the comments because we were, comparing, and I'm like, me too, slow knitter and loose knitter, and probably going down a needle size, but I don't know. Then they said, I did just time the longer to take round. She called it the longer to take round. So there's like easy stockinette rounds, and there's like a different stitch round that's, you know, a little bit more time consuming. And that row, it took me almost 40 minutes. Sigh. But the round where you're just knitting stockinette goes much more quickly. Okay, so that's good to know. Because sometimes, oh gosh, I love a blanket. I love the time, you know, what you're getting into with a blanket, right? Like we know this isn't a quick thing, but it is nice to know that some rows take 40 minutes. Like that is a long time, but worth it for the color change fun and the picking the colors and all that stuff. I mean, it might be totally worth it. And now I'm very curious. And so I might have to cast on some swatches and see what I think, and maybe try the rounds or the rows or whatever it is and see how it goes. Is it in rounds? This person is saying rounds, but maybe they mean rows, but I will check. Anyway, thank you for the blanket scarf feedback. I'm sorry that I have not made a decision yet. I really thought I would know this week, and I am leaning towards the blanket, but every time I see that scarf picture, I want that too. So maybe I will end up doing both over time. I could definitely knit my way through this kit and start whatever I want, and then maybe add another kit if I really need to. Or like a lot of people said, they have made that scarf pattern with their stash, like different staff, like mini skeins in your stash. You can make that scarf with other stuff too. So that is total, or the blanket, either one. And do I have stash? Yeah, I do. So thank you though. That was really fun to see what you guys all thought about my dilemma, and I'm still gonna think on it, but I hope to share soon at least something that I'm casting on with that set. So thanks. Next up, I want to talk about a couple of things I acquired this week, kind of not even planning on it, but Shayla from Purl Magic knows that I love yellow. And I remember talking to her at Rhinebeck, and I was looking at all her bags. You know, she's like a hot spot she was at Cake Palooza, and she's always like the booth that everybody runs to. And I was looking around. Her bags are fantastic, by the way. If you don't know, or if you haven't seen them in person, it's like this heavy duty plastic. It's weatherproof, which at Rhinebeck was very important. And they're sturdy, they're really well made. She makes them herself, like she sews these, which is like mind-blowing to me. She has these really fun zippers. But anyway, I asked, I'm like, do you have yellow bags? Do you ever do yellow? And she's like, it's just not like one of the more popular colors and blah, blah, blah. She's like, I know you love yellow though. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And she was like, next time I come across the yellow, or if I have some, or if I find some laying in her, you know, studio, she's like, I'm gonna make you a yellow just for you. So don't bug her about this. This is probably a one-off. But she found this awesome plastic with these Converse high tops. So this is on one side, that's clear. And then use the yellow. So I've got my awesome dream yellow bag, and the size is so nice. This is a fantastic like sweater size bag. And then the awesome rainbow zipper. It's so neat. So thank you, Shayla. This was so kind of you to make me my yellow bag that I have dreamed of. Your like craftsmanship, I've like lusted after this bag, or this size bag, for a long time. It's so heavy duty and nice. It's not like flimsy and like floppy. It stands up. It's very sturdy on its own. This yellow is like my perfect neon yellow, and I just love having something that's durable, that like I can set on the ground if I'm out knitting at a coffee shop or whatever, or wherever I am. I can throw it in my car and it stands up, and I can, you know, keep it clean. And I've seen, you know, friends carrying them in the rain, and it's just good for everything. So thank you, Shayla. This was like a dream bag. And then she also included a little key fob fun thing with the sneakers, the awesome little Converse vinyl that she has, and a little thing of stitch markers. So thank you. That is so kind and so sweet, and you didn't have to do that, and I'm so appreciative, because it's really like my dream Purl Magic Shayla bag. So thank you. It's making me super happy. So I got that in the mail this week. And then I saw on Instagram, Kay Gardner, she just, I mean, inspires me every day, but she had reposted in her stories someone that had taken these IKEA pencil rolls. So this is like in their art set called SOLFÅGEL. I'm not saying it right. SOLFÅGEL. And there's like a paint set, paint brushes, pencils, like colored pencils. There's art supplies. There's this art set. And this I had not seen before. It is $7. It is canvas. It is a pencil roll, but let me tell you what I want to use it for. And that's what was in Kay's reposted story in her stories, that this person had taken an IKEA pencil roll and like printed it. Oh, I think they did potato cuts. Like when you cut the potato, make a stamp out of it, and they had printed the canvas and made a knitting needle holder. Like this would be perfect for DPNs or your interchangeables. And so it's just a canvas. I just love like how minimal, you know, I love IKEA anyway, it's just whatever. But $7 gets you this canvas roll. Look at how many little sleeves there are. They call them sleeves, I don't know, little openings for your knitting needles. I like freaked out. So I ordered 2 of them because my DPN case I've had for a long time. It's not in the greatest shape. It's not the way it rolls, a lot of them fall out all the time. It kind of drives me nuts. So I'm gonna see, it does go this way, I guess, so that they would stick down into this little pocket. Like it's really perfect for knitting needles, I think. I mean, I have to try it out still, but I am also inspired by the printing that person did. I don't know if you follow Bookhoo. I don't know if that's how you say it. Bookhoo on Instagram. It's BOOKHOU. She's the master of everything sewing, printing. She has like block printing, like not screen printing, but your own everything. Visible mending, sewing of all kinds. She makes like whole backpacks and bags and has a lot of tutorials online too. And I've seen like a craftsy class, I think. She's the master of all things. And her little videos, she'll just have little process videos of all of her crafting. And it's just amazing. But I remember one time she did a canvas printing thing where she made these shapes and used like speedball ink to print. And I mean, it's totally fine plain too, but it does look fun to kind of print it and make it a little bit fun. But I'm just really excited about the IKEA $7 pencil roll that I'm gonna use for knitting needles. There's like 2 sets of needles that I have that don't really have a good case. So this, I'm seriously going to be so excited to try it and see, because these are very small, like just the right circumference, I think, for some of the needles. Maybe they're, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. It's kind of hard to tell until they're in there, but I think it's promising, and I just wanted to see what it looked like. And if not, we have so many art supplies. But I do. How would this not work for needles? It does. It will. Crochet hooks, any of it. So this was exciting. The other IKEA thing I was going to talk about is the fabric is back. And someone else talked about this with me too. You know, we were talking about my IKEA fabric a while back with the bright, it was like bright neon yellow and a black, it was like a print, a big bold print. And we were talking about how at IKEA, they used to always sell fabric by the yard and you could just sew with it. And it would sometimes be upholstery fabric. Sometimes it would be like quilting cotton. It was always different. And then there was this new collection that came out, and they are once again selling fabric, pre-cut fabric yardage. I can't remember how much it is. So my daughter was in Minneapolis with her friend over spring break just for a quick little weekend trip. And I asked her to look for any of this that she could see from this collection. It's I'm not gonna say it right, Fibla. And it's designed by this artist. She could only find this pillow cover, which I still wanted, because it's like, we have these IKEA pillows everywhere and I have inserts, you know, just to throw them on a couch. Love this print, but they had this fabric. It was sold out in Minneapolis, but but it exists somewhere out there. You can get the fabric again by the yard just for a few of these prints. There was a black and white print and there was this green print. And this is what that looks like. I love their bold Scandinavian designs always. So if I can't get the fabric, I'll take a pillow cover. But those are my IKEA finds. And yeah, if you have an IKEA near you, go see if they have that fabric by the yard, because it is really fun to have that back again. I can't believe it was gone for so long and we're all like, what happened to that? Anyway, it was fun to talk. Someone else noticed this too. Like, did you see that? Yeah. So I knew I wouldn't have a ton of knitting to show you this week, and that's okay. But to kind of give me something to talk about, I asked you guys for Q&A questions in my Instagram stories, and you came through. I was like, who's gonna have a question for me? But you had questions, and thank you very much for sending me your questions. If you have any other questions, please put them in the comments below, because it's really nice sometimes to have some questions to answer when I don't know what else to talk about, so thanks. And it's just fun. It's fun to like talk back and forth, and this is how we learn about other knitters too. And I think like, I wonder what you're doing, and then you tell me and we have a conversation. It's just like a learning experience. So, oh yeah, before I get into the questions, the sweater I'm wearing is Metamorphic by Andrea Mowry. I made this a couple of years ago and wore it to Rhinebeck a couple of years ago. And I did use the Metamorphic yarn from Spin Cycle, which is like their recycled. It always comes in different batches, and you have to get like one whole color batch to get your matching color. And I got kind of this cool gray with some fun little bits mixed in, which I really like. And then I used their Spin Cycle, cannot remember the name of this blue-green color, but it's kind of yellow, blue-green stripes that are really fun. And I enjoyed making this, and it's just one of those feel-good sweaters that feels really nice to wear. And I did earlier this morning discover a hole in the back, and I don't know if it got snagged on something or what happened, but I was able to mend it and it looks okay. But it's like, what happened to my sweater? So anyway, but I like to wear them and like, you know, live in them. So this happens, I can always patch it or whatever I have to do. So it's fine. But anyway, back to the Q&A questions. Let me see, I gotta look at my laptop to see what they are. First one is, how do you organize your stash, etc.? And I would like to know, how do you organize your stash? I feel like mine is such a basic way of doing it, but I have improved my organization over the years because it used to be out of control. I had a bunch of huge blue IKEA bags that I would just throw yarn in, and it would be like, what is in there? And I'd have to dig through each time to find like what I was looking for. So I have become a little bit better at figuring that out, but it's very boring. But I'll show you what I do. It's probably what you do too. I have a bunch of identical bins that are clear like this. I took some Post-it notes one day and a Sharpie, and I organized them by my yarn balls, by kind. Some of them are by fiber. I have one of these just for sock yarn and like that weight, or like it might not be sock yarn, it might be shawl yarn, or you know, things, but like that weight. This is all my Rowan Big Wool, and do not judge. It is my favorite, one of my favorite like all time, from beginning of knitting to now, yarns. So I do have a good collection of Big Wool. It's Rowan, and I'm also a Rowan ambassador. Sometimes I get a little bit of Big Wool. So this is my organization, is just bins for the most part. Everything's in a bin so I can find it easily. I have one for like cotton, like half of it is like dish cotton, like sugar cream type cotton or other cotton. I have like a wool one. I have some kind of organized by brand or by weight like this. And so it's just so I have like kind of a storage room down in the basement. It's not cool or like beautiful at all. Maybe someday I'll show you though, because it's kind of fun just to see where people keep their stuff, but it's not cute. It doesn't have cute cube shelves like you would think I would have an IKEA room for this, but our house is not super big. There's just our bedroom's up here behind that hallway, so it's like there's not an extra room or space to keep this stuff except for downstairs in the basement, which is totally fine. I have like a desk down there. I have my sewing machine down there. It's like my sewing stuff, my crafting stuff, and then my yarn and knitting stuff. So let me just show you the rest of how I do this. All of my sweater quantities that are ready to go, like a project that I know exactly what I'm doing with it, they all go into a bagoo bag or some kind of tote bag. And so it's ready to go. Sometimes I'll tie it off at the top so it doesn't all fall out in case things topple over or, you know, get thrown around. Because the nice thing is you can throw these around. You can kind of throw it in a little pile or whatever. But this way things don't get misplaced and the yarn stays nice in these slick bags. It doesn't get all frizzy or, you know, you don't want it to, you want it to be nice and new and ready to go. You don't want it to be all pilled or anything before you use it. So once I have it figured out, my projects go into bagoo bags or tote bags. That's my organization system. And then for needles and stuff like that, I do have this nice little basket that you can get at Target. They have gray and white, cream, whatever. And this is how, like, it took me a long time to get here, but we all have a lot of supplies, tools, needles, notions, and I finally decided to consolidate all of that into one basket that I can find everything easily in. And I have like 2 of these, where's the other one? I have like an MDK pouch and this Boku pouch that she printed. I was talking about that screen printing and the hand printing earlier. Like this is one of hers that she actually printed that I bought. These are like my 2 mothership Notion bags where like all my cool, good tools are. So when I need to pack like a little bag to put in a project bag, or if I'm traveling and I need the good stuff, like everything is in here. I've got like all the colorful stitch markers, my counter, my little cords, like the try-it-on tubing, lotion bar. This is like a Mary Poppins bag. Like you're gonna see so many things come out of here. These awesome cocoa knits. I love this thing with the metal magnetic stitch markers, and you can like wear it on your wrist. It's these little guys. Scissors. This is my mother load of tape measures that my kids have not taken. These disappear in our house and we don't know where they go. I have all of them safely, or at least a few, in this bag so that I can at least measure something when I need to, because otherwise they're always missing, like always. I have a nice little key fob that I need to put on a bag that has the ruler on it. I have one of those little rings that has the stitch marker you can turn, you know what I'm talking about. These cute little progress keepers, pens, pencils, scissors, more tape measures. This is like the secret tape measure stash that no one can know about because they will disappear. And then, yeah, just other stitch markers and weird gadgets. So this is like, I can make any little travel supply bag out of these 2 bags. And then if I have any supplies left over hanging out around my house or, you know, where they shouldn't be, I put them back in these 2 bags so I can find them again. Otherwise they get lost all over the place. This is my new method of like keeping track of all of those things. They go in here. Like everything needs just a place to go and then you're fine. You're organized, right? I don't know. That's my method. Here's a couple little patches, also from Boku, that prints all the things. This is like my sewing one. You can keep little needles in here. It's like a little needle folder, binder, needle case. And then this one's more for knitting. And these are the ones, like the smaller ones that I will pack up and use somewhere else. And then I've just got needle sets. I've got my shorties. I have these really old cubics that I love, like the cube square needles. I love how these feel. And I've had these forever and I use the heck out of them. I also keep like empty pouches in here in case I need to like I said, like put some needles in here, put some notions in here, and put it in a different bag. This is that needle, the DPN case that I talked about that they kind of all fall out of. It's okay though. It's made out of old IKEA fabric and I used like a wristband, like one of those bracelets that are silicone to keep it shut because it doesn't have a tie or anything. And so that's why I'm thinking of replacing it with the IKEA one that I just bought, because these pretty much just fall out. It's not very secure, but those are my DPNs that I've had since the beginning of my knitting journey, like in 2007. And then, yeah, my mini case, my very first knit pick set. Some of these are gone, lost, or loaned out, or I don't know where they are, but maybe they're in a project somewhere, but I still keep this because it's just like memories of my very first interchangeable set. It's still great and I still use it, but it's just not the one like I go to first anymore, but it's still there in case I need a backup size of needles. But that's like since first day of knitting too, like I remember thinking, like, this is a big splurge. Do I really like this hobby? And turns out, yes, I do. And then got a little Chago set. I already sewed that. This is me and Lotus's shared case of all crochet hooks. They all go here. Every brand. This is a crochet hook case from Prim, that brand that Arnie and Carlos use. It's the PRYM. I think it's such a cute little case, and it's a very visible way to like find your crochet hooks fast, because it's such a colorful little thing. But I have a lot of different kinds of hooks, and Lotus uses these all the time too. So to make sure that we both know where they are, they all have to go back into this zipper pouch. It has like a little Velcro tab. It's very cute and very like compact. And then this is another needle set. This is like one of the smartest things I got from a Knitter's Pride set that I got a few years ago. This is just a little pouch for your cables. And I thought that was so smart because they don't always fit in the little pocket or whatever in your needle case, but they do fit here, and it's a really easy place to keep them all like coiled up and actually know where they are. I love that thing. And then I have the bigger, so I've got like a big and little set of these. These are like, I use these a lot. And then I have metal. I have like a mix of everything. And I swear I use them all the time. And sometimes I need like 2 sets of US 6s at the same time. And so I've got backups, and it accumulates over the years. Don't judge me. But then I have, this is just, you know, that's pretty much everything. But I do keep one pouch just for my giant fixed needles. Like I do, and when I started out, I always did a lot of really chunky knits, and I still love to do chunky knits, and like knit collage, that kind of stuff needs bigger needles. So all the big needles that I have are in this one zipper pouch so I can find them. And then once again, anything that's laying out, any random needles, whatever I've got after a project, you're like in a hurry to put things away or whatever. It's easy with the basket because I can just throw them in, even if I don't have time to look for the right case to put them back. At least if I can throw it in the bin, I can organize it later, and I know at least it's in here and not somewhere else in a different project bag where I can't find it. So that's like the simplest organization tip I have, but put all your needles, tools, notions in a basket, use some little zipper bags, and just put everything in one spot, and then it's always there. And then when you're done knitting something, put it all back in the basket, and that's like all I've got. Next question. Could you talk about the types of yarn like superwash, surrey, mohair, when to use? Thanks. Yes, I can, but I will tell you, I am a rule breaker. I don't always use what's recommended or suggested. I mean, sometimes I do really stick to the plan, but like the new trend of sweaters, it's not a new trend, but like lately a lot of sweaters ask you to hold yarn together with mohair. It happens a lot. Sometimes personally, I don't like mohair. Sometimes it bugs me. Sometimes I don't like fuzzies, and I'm probably in the minority with this big time because I know people love a cozy sweater with a halo. I'm not saying that's bad. I love the look of it. But I can't handle the feel of it sometimes, or if it goes up in my nose and I'm like sneezy because of it, it's not my favorite. So sometimes my answer is it's a personal thing, I think, for all of us. So there's no perfect answer, like what type of yarn to use for everything. So it's really, what do you like? What do you enjoy? And what do you want to wear? And what feels good to you? So lately, like there was a petite knit cardigan I wanted to make, and it was held together with a strand of mohair. And I decided not to do the strand of mohair. I bought the other suggested yarn, which is a sandness yarn. I'm not gonna hold it with mohair. I'm gonna knit it as is. It doesn't change the gauge that much, and it may be because I'm a looser knitter. I can get gauge without the mohair and just with that straight yarn. So I'm not gonna hold it together with mohair. It's gonna be just a plain yarn cardigan. So I do that a lot for myself, for my knitting. I don't feel like you have to hold something double with something else. It's also kind of expensive sometimes, and it's not always in my budget to add a whole second quantity of yarn to like make the one sweater. So, I mean, that's kind of probably a divided opinion thing, but I don't always do exactly what the pattern calls for. Superwash is so good for some things. Sometimes it's a good mix in a sock, but I also love wool socks. Not everybody does. Like my friend Erica that you've seen sometimes here on the channel, does not like the feeling of wool yarn on socks for her feet, but some people I love wool. But a good superwash nylon mix can be really good for socks. This spin cycle, I think the metamorphic is, I might be wrong on this. If it's some of the spin cycle and some of the magpie fibers, some of that is superwash, it feels really good. So it's kind of a feeling thing, but then other times I want straight up wool, I want lopey, I want like Icelandic sweater, scratchy, sticky wool. Like I love the feeling of all kinds of things. It's funny that I like that and I don't really like mohair, but it's such a personal thing that I don't think I can tell you like straight up, here's what you use it for. But I think there's a lot of different ideas, and if you swatch with something, you can usually tell like, do I like this or do I not like this? Does this feel right? Yeah, same thing with Surrey. There's also, instead of mohair lately, and Surrey is kind of the same in this family of like mohair, Surrey, there's alpaca like that too. So there is a sandness alpaca that you can use in place of the sandness mohair. I'm just using sandness as a broad, like it can be anything. But I did choose to use the alpaca because that felt better to me and much softer to me than the mohair. So like there's a lot of substitutions that you can figure out. Sometimes you have to go find it at a local yarn shop to see what does this feel like? Because online it's very hard to tell. So it's good if you can go shop locally, check it out in person. How does it feel? Or if you have a friend knitter that, you know, has made things with this type of yarn, then you can kind of check it out and see how it feels to you, because that's really a big deal, I think, for all of us, is how it feels when you wear it. So that is kind of my answer for that. Probably not a great answer, but thanks for the question. It's a good one. Next question. I have loved your CSM tutorials and bought and love a Dean & Bean partly because of them. Yay, that is awesome to hear. I love my Dean & Bean machine. I have a lot of people that ask me about them all the time, so it's good that you jumped in and got one. Part 2 of this question is, what is your favorite knitting tip or trick for CSM knitting? A little helpful aha moment. So I feel like I've had a lot of these lately, and it's because of these crank-ins that I have gone to, that I've been very, very fortunate to attend, because I don't know if they have these everywhere, but I've been to 2 local crank-ins that are right around my city, and then I've been to one in Kansas City that's just for Dean & Bean machine owners, and I'm going to that Dean & Bean one again in April, so that'll be my 4th crank-in since I've had this machine, and I got the machine like 2 years ago-ish, a little more than that. All of my aha moments have come from crank-ins. You can learn though so much from the YouTube videos. So Dean & Bean has their own library of YouTube videos, and they are incredibly, like, they think of every tiny little detail you need to know from every part of everything, and things that are even beyond socks, and different heels, different toes, different methods of doing all this stuff. They're incredible, but there is other CSM machine knitting videos too, like Jamie Mayfield, is that her name? Yes, I don't know why I just blanked out. Jamie Mayfield is like queen of all sock knitting. She knows every machine. She used to work for Erlbacher, and she does something called Sock TV, and she does videos there. There's just a lot of videos everywhere. But the aha moment I had at the last crank-in I went to, and you don't know these things if you're at home cranking alone all the time. There's no way you can know from all these people who are around you at all times when you're at a crank-in, and they each have like little specialties or things that they know that no, you know, it's like you don't know until you get together all these things. It's a whole different craft with a whole different skill set and all these tiny little things you learn over time. But I was stuck on a heel that I was working on my Dean & Bean machine, and I messed up a little bit and I was dropping stitches and something was happening, and I'm like, and when that happens, I sort of freeze and try not to freak out and try to get it all back. And this woman walks over and is like, oh, well, did you know you can rip back on that heel section? You can't do it on the leg or the foot when you're going around, only on the heel and the toe. You can go pull out those stitches along the needles to go backwards, because I had a funny row that had done something awful. And I was like, what? And I almost didn't want her to touch it, because I was like, no, don't mess it up. It's such a touchy thing when you're trying to fix these things. You try to hold things that have fallen and like secure things, and then you try to go in and fix it with the tools, and it's like still stressful for me. But she comes over, and of course, you know, I trust these people who've done it forever. And she just starts ripping back along the heel, like pulling the yarn out of, I was like, oh, and it worked. And it was so much easier than what I was going to try to do. And I didn't know that you can rip back on the heel and toe on a CSM, or at least on a Dean & Bean, and everything will be fine. You just can't do it while you're working the round. So that was this is probably not making any sense because I don't have this to show you right here. I'm not. But I did not know that. And I bet if you YouTube it, there's some kind of video about how to do that. But yeah, I have aha moments about that stuff all the time at these crank-ins, but also when I'm messing around at home too, and you try to, you know, do something different. I did try to do toe up socks on the machine for the first time at this last crank-in, which is a totally different animal. I was like, I couldn't even wrap my brain around what it was looking like and what it was happening. So usually I just do cuff down on the machine, and you do a folded hem, and it goes in perfectly, makes this perfect little hem with a little seam in it. And then, so it's like a folded over section, and then you knit the leg, then you do short rows for a heel, back and forth, foot, and then you do a toe that ends up to be open on one side, and then you kitchen it shut. But this was making the toe first, and it made a complete circle of stitches. It looked like a little trampoline in the middle of your sock machine. And I was like, that's the toe? And I mean, it makes sense. It was like 2 half circles that would fold in eventually. But you have to stretch this half circle thing across to your needles. And it was just like, oh. And once you practice it, or if someone shows you, you get better at it. And there's YouTube videos and all the things. But anyway, that's my long answer of aha moments about the CSM machine. And you just have to keep practicing. So good luck with your machine. I hope it's going well, and don't give up, because it gets better. And if you want to come, if you're near Kansas City, come to the crank-in. I think there's still spots available at the Dean & Bean crank-in I think it's at the end of April. I went last year and had a blast, and I learned so much at that crank-in. It is the Dean & Bean family, because it's like a family of people that make the machines. They all come and teach you workshops, and there's little tutorials, like on a side room, you can go watch different demos, and then you can crank with them right there to help you with their exact machine. So it's like kind of priceless. And it's just really fun, and you get to meet other people that are doing this just like you, and it's really cool. So if you're nearby, sign up and register. I don't know how many spots are left, but it's coming up soon. Next question. It says, oh, so, with lots of O's, have you started contemplating any projects in that pretty blue shade of Dinah's eyes? Yes. So if you didn't know, a couple weeks ago, we got a brand new cat, and her name is Dinah, and she's Siamese and very beautiful. And she has these gorgeous blue eyes that are kind of blue-gray, really light blue. She's so sweet, you guys. Oh, she's like my new, every time I knit, she's there, like right there. Usually like right in the middle. The other day I was knitting something in the round and she walked in through my circular needles and I had to like get her out without dropping stitches. So I was like helping her legs through. Like you can't get inside. You can't, but she did. So yes, I have found the funniest project this week, just a couple days ago. I was like, what? So if you remember, my friend Erica has made a bunch of Mary Maxim sweaters, which are those vintage patterns that you can still get from Mary Maxim. She made one that is buffaloes that she wore to Rhinebeck last year. It's like cream with these bison all over it. That's so good. She's made a couple others. If you look on her Ravelry, maybe I'll link it below. She has a fun Ravelry to look through. She's made a few other Mary Maxim. I can't remember what the other ones are. And then just now she made one with wolves and paw prints and it's amazing. So anyway, I have been just looking at all Siamese everything lately just because I'm kind of obsessed now that we have this new cat. And so it's just a problem I have. I just kind of Google things that are Siamese everywhere. So I was on Ravelry and I type in Siamese in the pattern box just for fun, like what's out there? Boom, there is this Mary Maxim old school Siamese cat sweater pattern that I'm like, oh my gosh, I probably have to make this. It's just a giant cat on a sweater, but it's cute and funny and vintagey. And so I might have ordered Lion Brand Fisherman wool. That's what Erica uses. She's kind of schooled me on all this because Mary Maxim patterns are written for a yarn that no longer exists. It was always like a heavyweight wool or maybe acrylic. It's like Erica said, it will stand up in the corner if you put this sweater down. If you find these in vintage like thrift shops, these are sturdy, thick, heavy sweaters. And so sometimes the yarn and the gauge doesn't translate to modern yarns very well because you might not want to use something that bulky. So Erica uses Fisherman wool from Lion Brand a lot. I think she also uses Cascade. And you still have to do some gauge math because it's not going to be perfect, but she's kind of figured it out. But I ordered yarn. Let me show you the picture of the Mary Maxim original because it's like green with the cat. So let me show you that first. And then Lion Brand was having a sale this week. I think it was like buy two, get one free. And the Fisherman wool is like 400 some, it's a lot of yards. It's these big skeins. You've probably seen them at Michael's and Joann's and everywhere, but it might be 435 yards. It might even be more than that. They go a long way. And so I bought just natural colors in case I do this Siamese sweater. I'm not going to do like the green background, but I think I'll use one of the browns for the background and then do the cat. And I've already got some blue for the eyes. So that answers your question. If I am contemplating any projects in the color of her eyes. Yeah, I'm doing a Siamese cat sweater, probably from Mary Maxim. And yeah, so Mary Maxim also had a sale when I was figuring this all out. I went to their website. Sometimes you can find their paper original patterns on eBay, which is really fun, but some of them you can't. And if you're searching for a certain one, the Mary Maxim website has an archive and you just get a PDF, and that was only $2.99. And so I just got the PDF, like I have to have this, and then I'll figure the rest out later. But I think the Fisherman wool is a good plan because the Fisherman wool only comes in the natural colors. So it's like a dark brown and some medium browns, a beige oatmeal color, and then like a white creamy natural. So that's like Siamese colors. Next question is, how did you get started designing knitwear? And the answer is the Gaptastic cowl. You might have heard of it, you might not have heard of it, but if you've been knitting for a certain amount of time and you've typed in the word cowl into Ravelry, you might have seen the Gaptastic cowl. You might see a picture of like my hair and a gray cowl, and that is me. And that was my accidental start into knitwear design. Total accident, total fluke. It was just like the funniest thing. So I was still a pretty new knitter-ish, and there was a cowl at the Gap that everybody wanted, and it was sold out for some reason. It was like a holiday season thing or something. And I remember I just wanted this cowl. I love a simple, modern, timeless design, and I have to say Gaptastic is that. So many people have learned how to knit with the Gaptastic. So many yarn shops use it to teach new classes because all you do is knit and purl. It's a seed stitch circle. It's like the easiest, most simple thing, but I put a free pattern out for it in like 2010, I think, and it kind of blew up, but I didn't know because I didn't always check Ravelry back then as much as I mean, I don't know, I've gone in phases with like how much you check, you know, how much you look at it. So I put this pattern out there, you know, I knitted a sample and, you know, I wanted it for myself. Some of my friends wanted to make one. So I wrote it down. It's not hard, but I figured out the dimensions and how long it should be, and I made it very oversized. It's very long. The original, it's like a big, big cowl. But the beauty of it is you can use any yarn. It can be any gauge. It really doesn't matter. It always looks cool. And over the years, I've made so many of those for gifts and, you know, taught classes with it and whatnot. But yeah, when it kind of blew up, my local yarn shop noticed, and they knew I shopped there, and they're like, have you seen your pattern on Ravelry? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I put it on Ravelry, I guess. And they're like, no. Like lots of people are making it and it's on the hot right now and all this stuff. And years later, there's like 20,000 Gaptastic projects on Ravelry or something. I don't know if that number, it might not be right, but there's like a lot of people who have made a Gaptastic cowl. And that was my intro into knitwear design, where I thought it was fun. I always thought it was fun to kind of write your own, you know, we all start with like modifying other patterns or, you know, kind of just making something up as you go. Every knitter has done this, but that is how it started for me. And then I started submitting designs to magazines like Knit Simple and Noro Magazine and Vogue Knitting. And what are the other ones? There were some older ones that aren't around anymore, but that's how I got started, is with magazines and then just putting my patterns on Ravelry. And then I started writing my own knitting books in 2015, and I self-published a few knitting books, wrote some books with Rowan, did a modern daily knitting field guide, and lots of projects in between and like fun stuff. So that is kind of how I got my start. It was accidental, but you know, the love of knitting, it'll make you do some crazy things. We all, though, I think anybody can write patterns. And Ravelry has shown anyone can write down like how you made this and share it with others. And that really is a beautiful thing. You know, Ravelry is such a huge source of inspiration and ideas, and like, how did they do this? Has someone ever made this? And you type it in and surely, yes, they have, like from a movie or TV. So it's pretty amazing how widespread and accessible it is, and how it is there available for anyone who wants to share or knit something or crochet something. Is just a huge resource. So I was happy to get my start there accidentally. And yeah, I haven't been doing books as much as I was for a while. For a while, I was doing at least a book a year, and I kind of burnt out on it. And so now I'm doing projects here and there for different companies that want to work with me, which is really nice. And I'm always up for that. It's fun. And then I'm doing some individual patterns too, just on my own, just something I want to make. So there's some stuff like that coming up soon that I'm kind of working on behind the scenes. But I'm working on something for Farm and Fiber right now. I'm working on something for Madeline Tosh right now. I'm working on something for Knit Collage right now. So I've got some stuff going on, and then something for myself that's maybe with Modern Daily Knitting sort of, but that's like maybe coming out in the fall. Unofficially, it's like just something I want to make that I'm using their yarn. But anyway, it's very fun. And just don't think that you can't design, because you can. I did, and I didn't even know, you know, I wasn't like expert level knitter or pattern writer. You have to learn that stuff kind of on your own. There's like not a knitting writing, I mean, maybe there is a class, but I've just read books. I've, you know, any resource I can find, I try to learn more. I've worked with a lot of tech editors that are genius, and it's just become kind of a fun thing that I can, you know, make a little bit of money doing my hobby and share patterns with people, and I really enjoy that. Okay, the next question made me smile because it's about something that I kind of forgot about, which is terrible and sad, but I love this topic. Please talk about the knitting planner. It's my favorite way to journal my crafty plans. So you probably don't even know, I made a knitting planner years ago. This is the 2020 version. I also have an undated version because I got tired of changing all the calendars in here to the new calendar year. And so I made an undated one that anyone can buy. I think it's on Amazon and I think it's on my website still. This is terrible that I don't even know. But this was, you know, make the thing that you want in the world. And I wanted a knitting planner and I wanted it to be cool. And so I'm a graphic designer, so I can make these things pretty easily. So I worked on like some fun little quotes to put inside. And I wish it was spiral bound is the only thing. I really wish it was spiral bound so it could lay flat. But this has monthly calendars in it. It's just funny that this is the 2020 version. But then it also has the weekly bigger box calendars, which I love for taking notes and like what's happening that day and like my to-do lists. So there's like weeks, like 4 of those for each month. Then every month has these project planning pages, which is for knitting specifically, but it can be anything. This can be like any project. It is very like open, but there's a line for the project title, notes, start date, due date, checklist. I love a checklist with a project planner. You can draw here, you can write out all your ideas, you can brainstorm. So I really love a project planning page. And then I put in some photos and I'd put like a big graphic O2 for the next month, which was obviously February. And then we start with the calendar again. So calendar pages, big spread of photo, calendar pages. We go through all the months like this. It is really pretty. Now that I look back on it, why did I don't know. I felt like I gave up promoting this because I just felt like, I don't know if anybody likes it. I like it. And some people, like this commenter, likes it. So that makes me feel good that some people are still into this idea because it is a really fun idea. But I really had fun like laying this out and making it a cool book that I wanted to use. Then in the back, there's some extra special things once I get through all the months of planning. And you can put a little bookmark in there so you can help, you know, set these pages apart a little bit. But then in the back, there's like these brainstorm pages, more list pages. There is graph paper and knitting graph paper in the back. So like the regular boxes and the longer boxes that are more like rectangles. Stephen West, I messaged him to make sure I could say this. I think he might have borrowed this quote from somebody else too, but more is more and less is a bore, with a nice little yellow project list planning page. There's an Elizabeth Zimmerman quote, a pros cons list. I like these, even I've done these with my kids. When you're trying to make a decision and you write your pros and cons out, it's fun to do it like in a triangle. Some notes, some dreams and ideas. You can write anything in these pages. You can draw, you can write, you can whatever. More ideas pages. There is a nice, some charts, some needle conversion charts and measurements. I love this measurements page, and you can record all the measurements of yourself, your family members, anybody that you knit for, so you can have them all in one place in case you're knitting for somebody. Knitting pattern abbreviations I included in there. Projects I want to knit. There's your to knit list. And there's several pages of that because we all, I mean, especially like when you're going to Rhinebeck or something, you need a list of like the yarn quantities you're looking for. This has pattern name, needle size, yarn name, yarn weight, yardage required for my size, gauge, and notes. That's useful. I mean, sometimes I use my phone for this stuff, but it's nice to have this too. And here's the knitting graph paper, in case you want to draw out some color work or a little graph that you want to do. Notes pages, more graph paper. I just love to write notes on graph paper. I'm a weird like graph paper nerd. And then Knit On with Confidence, my favorite. and your favorite quote. That's the knitting planner. If you're interested, this is available online someplace, probably Amazon and probably johngeigley.com. I think it will be undated. Unless, if there's enough interest, I will, maybe not for 2024. I mean, I feel like it's already into the year. Maybe 2025, I will start dating them again with the months and the days, like the actual days. Otherwise, the undated is great too. You can fill it in yourself, but that's the knitting planner. Thank you for asking. That's really sweet of you. Thanks. Next question is an interesting one, and I want to ask you all the same question. Have you got your yarn listed on your home and contents insurance? No. Do you? Oh my goodness, I have never thought about this. That's terrible. I've thought about like who I would leave my yarn to or who might want to deal with it if I was gone. That's so sad. But no, I do not have that on my home and contents insurance. And that's an interesting thing to think about. And I want to ask all of you, do you have that listed? That's a great question. Am I dumb for not listing it? I don't know. I do think like when we've had like horrible tornadoes and like natural disasters, I am always like, my yarn. So maybe I should. I don't even know how to go about that. Do you go with like the value or the quantity or anyway, if anybody knows anything about this, tell me in the comments below because it is an interesting thing to think about and I have not thought about that. Good question. One last question, and it's a good one. I would ask how the kitten is settling in, but she looks like she's in heaven. Yep, I think so. We are all in heaven. She is just delightful. I could not have asked for a smoother transition because you just never know with a cat if they're gonna hide out in a bathroom or under a bed for 2 weeks or, you know, you just don't know. But she warmed up to us so quickly and easily. She loves the kids. She loves to knit with me. It's kind of a dream, and I don't know how I made it this long in my life without a knitting companion. That was a cat. She loves watching Bowie play Nintendo. She likes to listen to Lotus play guitar. She's from kind of a musical family, so I'm sure these things aren't surprising to her or shocking. Like she's lived with a kid before and a teenager and like all ages, so I think she likes all the attention because we give her a lot of attention and she likes it and she wants it and she'll let us know. She's very chatty and she meows a lot. She communicates really well. So if I don't know what she wants, I'm figuring it out real quick because she will keep telling me till I get it right. She'll put her little paw up for more pets. Like she'll lay here on me and like put her paw up if I stop petting her. One night, I swear this is true, I'm gonna sound like a crazy cat woman, but it was like something I was scrolling on the internet and then The Cure came on. It was the Cure song and I was sort of singing along with it. And then she meowed at me, not kidding, until I replayed that Cure song again. She knows The Cure. She knew that song, I swear, and meowed at me until I played it again. Not kidding. She's so smart and so fun, and yeah, she's settled in really nicely into our family and we all love her very much, and thanks for asking. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and thank you for all your Q&A questions. It was kind of fun to get into some different topics there and talk about something different, so that was really fun. If you have any other questions, just put them in the comments below because I'm sure I'll do that again someday. So thanks for participating. That was really nice. And someday I do want to do a live video like on a Saturday and maybe just knit and talk with you all. Maybe if there's interest in that. I was going to do that today during Knit for Food, but then this day got kind of busy and I want to make sure to hit Fiberpalooza because that is like a one-time thing and it's very fun and it's only on this day. And then Knit for Food, that'll be busy, and then my daughter's show. So there's just kind of a lot going on. So another time I do want to do a live. Let me know if you're interested in that. Probably on a Saturday. I don't know what time yet, but we'll see. Maybe sometime. That would be fun. But thanks for hanging out. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please like and subscribe if you would like to, or if you haven't already. I do upload a new video every Saturday morning, so check back next week and I'll have a Viberpalooza recap and some other things. I'm sure I'll have more knitting next time because now my design projects are in a spot that I feel good about for my deadlines, and I'm feeling much better about that whole thing. And then I think I can do some personal knitting, some fun knitting this week, and share that next time too. So definitely check back. But thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great weekend or week or whatever, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.